Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. Good evening. Yeah, Rahul, always there, Sada too, and the rest. And I'm always delighted to come to class, and because I know it's always very challenging, and then there are lots of things you guys know already, and we're going to share them together. Did everybody get to go through the case? Did you receive the case of today? Okay, Sada too did. Yeah, Monachin George, good evening. Did everyone receive the case for today's discussion? No? So the case was sent yesterday. Okay, Pio didn't read it, so definitely you're going to be left out today. That's bad. Did anyone else get to go through the case? Okay, not to take a lot of time, the case I'm not going to give you any hints on the case, and if we've not discussed the case, then we're going to look at other aspects of management. We're going to talk slightly about the case, but the rest of the analysis and the other two questions I wanted us to analyze, we're going to do that tomorrow because everyone has to go through the case. You cannot analyze a situation that you do not know. That doesn't speak very well of the quality of your analysis. It won't really be valid. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the case briefly. Did anyone else read the case at all? Just reading it without maybe pouring into it in detail. If you do not have a copy of the case, you can send an email to the coordinator for web classes, and they're going to send you a copy of the case. So anybody who went through the case, can you tell us anything about the case? What is the case talking about? What is like no one read the case? This is a case you can read. You can go through the case in a couple of hours. This particular case, I've gone through it about maybe 4 or 5 times. It's a pretty short case. The bulk of the material is the exhibits. I think the case itself is 6 pages, and the rest are the exhibits to support the case. This is a very, very interesting case because it talks about the Indian environment, working environment, the Indian community, one of the Indian communities anyway. That is Sitara. is is a village. I don't know if I can call it a village. Um, Not far from Agra. I've been to Agra myself, to Taj Mahal. Um, so this case is based in one of the villages, and we look at the management system of India. And first of all, there are a couple of questions on the board. You see, you cannot even answer the questions. You cannot even discuss the questions without reading the case. This is not very, very good, guys. We have to read the case. It's difficult for me to twist the whole thing now. I cannot give you what the case is, but because you have to figure it out yourself. This really, really not good. Um, so what we can do at the moment, we're going to look at general Indian management and the Western management system. But I just want to ask, I think we talked about this some time ago in just in passing. How do you describe the general Indian management system? What is it all about? Anybody has an idea? How do you describe the Indian management system? I've been to Delhi a couple of times, to Bangalore as well, and I've seen a lot of things happening in India. So it's really, really interesting. You see what the people are doing. It's really interesting. I enjoyed my trips there. So can anyone tell me? I think there are lots of Indians present. Well, you don't have to be an Indian to know the Indian management system. I'm not an Indian, but I do know the Indian management system. So is there anyone who knows how the Indian management system is called? Democratic. Now, this is the, no, that is the political system. I'm talking about the management system in India, or the management style, the Indian management style. Let me put it that way. Hello, guys. If I give the name, you're going to just say, oh my God. Okay. Um, it's very easy. It's the Jugaad. It's spelled Judaad. Okay. That's the Jugaad. Have you heard about this word before? Wow, lots of you say no. That's almost everyone says no. Well, anyway, that is why we are here today, to learn new things. Does anybody know the Japanese management system style, how it's called? I think I should. I never knew. Okay. Well, I think this makes me to want to prepare some kind of um, a small note. Um, do you know what the Japanese management style is called? It's called the Kaizen. It's spelled, okay, it's called the Kaizen. So at least you've learned two things now. I'm going to put it on the board. Let me put it down in another box. So the Indian style is the Jugaad, and the Japanese is the Kaizen. Can we see it on the screen? Okay, so this is what it looks like. Is it very clear now? Okay, so we have the Jugaad and we have the Kaizen. Now, what is the Jugaad? The Jugaad is a management style that takes certain things into consideration. It's based on 6 fundamental principles, and I'd like everybody to put it down because really it is very good. It's very important. Maybe I'm going to write on the board, the whiteboard as well. So let me say start with Jugaad. Yeah. So the Jugaad is based on 6 fundamental principles. The first principle is seeking opportunity in adversity. Please put it down. The first is seeking opportunity in adversity. That is the first principle. The second principle is doing more with less. The third is thinking and acting flexibly. Thinking and acting flexibly. The third is, let me try to increase that. Okay, the third is, let me reduce that size so I can write more. Okay, the third is keeping it simple. Keeping it simple. Let me take my video out. Let me so we can concentrate on the board. The next, the fourth. Oh, sorry. The fourth is including the margin I think okay, thinking and acting flexibly, keeping it simple, including the margin. Okay, including the margin. Okay. And then following one's heart. I think that's the fifth. And the sixth, did I mix? So seeking opportunities in diversity, that's the first one. And the second one is doing more with less. The third, thinking and acting flexibly. Okay, this is the third. Then this is the fourth. This is the fifth. And this is the sixth. Keeping it simple. And next, including the margin and following one's heart. Okay, this is the Jugaad. Now, when it comes to the Jugaad, you realize that, so can anybody say anything about this? When you hear it, this is the principles that guide the Indian management style. The first is that they seek opportunity in diversity. They do more with less. They think and act flexibly. They keep it simple. They include the margin, and then they follow one's heart. You follow your heart. Have you ever experienced, do you have any examples of a jugaad? For example, I was in India, and you see lots of people, they use a bicycle, they adapt it to, I think they call it cycle, is it Rikka or Riksha, something. I hope I got it. Rickshaw. Oh, I have a couple of photos myself there. I tried to go around with one. I didn't go very far anyway because I didn't know my way around. I asked one. Then I also used another one called the auto. Is it rickshaw as well? Yeah, cycle rickshaw is it's a bicycle, and then they've attached three-wheelers in a way, and then there is the auto rickshaw. It's a motorcycle kind of transportation tool. They've adapted it in a very beautiful way. It's safe. So that is the creativity, doing more with less. That is one of the jugaad. And then you see how people try to, they're flexible. It's not like the Western management style or the Western working environment where you only do what your job description says. You don't go out of it. And that is what is very beautiful with the Indian management style, the jugaad. And then the Kaizen, I'm going to give the Kaizen as an assignment. So you can take a look, you can do a little bit of research over the internet and try to figure out exactly what the Kaizen is. That's the Japanese management style. And then we're going to talk about it. So this case, the case of today, which we were supposed to be analyzing anyway, but it turned out that most of you did not go through the case, which is very, very, very bad. I have to say that. What do you think, for those of you who've had the opportunity to live in an Indian community, a rural community anyway, what are the challenges that a manager would face in such an environment? Because this case is going to bring us a real life example of a challenge that how they call him, is it the Prachayat? Does that community, the Grand, I wrote it there in my question. The Gram Pradhan. The Gram Pradhan. His name is Sohan Lal. He had to manage the community after being elected. I think he has a 5-year term. So that is what happens in that community. I tried to do a bit of research on it and then came up with all this information. And then the principles that he used, he presented very good principles to guide management in such an environment. But what are the challenges that you think managing a community? Okay, Saratu has a hand up. Let me try to get what she has to say. Okay, Saratu. Saratu, go on. Oh, Saratu, you're using a tablet device, so it's not possible for you to speak up. I've tried to turn you on, but they tell me you have a... Yeah, you're using a tablet device, right? Okay, you can chat. Now, please take down these 2 questions and Yeah, it is possible to talk, but you cannot talk with a tablet device. I tried to give you access to say a few things, but well, I've turned it on again, but it says student is using a tablet device to attend this class. So it strictly recommends a laptop or a desktop. But sorry about that. Okay, that's fine. Let's move on. There is another management system. There's another management style, which is Western. I think I should leave that as another assignment, if you don't mind, for you to try to figure out what the Western management style is, what the Japanese management style is as well. I already gave you the Indian management style, which we're going to be looking at in the case. But I'd like you to figure out yourself what the Japanese management style is and what the Western management style is. So that is going to be an assignment, and this is going to see how much effort you're also putting into the whole thing. I'm just going to give you a summary of the case. So for you, those who are going to be reading the case after this, it shouldn't be very difficult for you. Okay, so the case is talking about Sitara. Sitara is a village in India. It is located near Agra, I think around the North Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh. I hope I got that right. Uttar Pradesh. And the Sitara Gram Panchayat, I hope I got it right. Panchayat, you can also call it Panchayat simply. It had about 15 members and was headed by Sohan Lal. So Sohan Lal was the Gram Pradhan. The Gram Pradhan. Now in 2011, Sohan Lal, he approved a project for renovation of a village, a large village pond, as per the directive of the central government's MNREGA scheme. That is the Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, you're going to get that as you read the case as well. So anyway, on starting the excavation work at the project site, it was found that the area was extremely marshy. You know what is marshy? You know, you can sink, something can sink in it. So the area was marshy. So manual laborers turned up at the work site every day, but declined to work because they felt threatened by the condition. And especially after one of the locals, the villagers, you know, they take their cattle to drink water from the pond, and one of the cattle almost sank. And those around some of those workers, they had to rescue the cattle. So after that experience, the laborers refused to work, but yet they wanted to be paid for no work. They come to the work site, they don't want to work. They said they are scared, but at the end of the day, they want to receive their wage. So this, since that land was marshy, Sohan Lal sent application to the local government official to request permission to use heavy machines. And there is a rule, there is a law in India that heavy machineries can only be used in an impossible case, a near impossible case. So now, but they didn't define what this kind of situation should be. And And Sohanlal had to. There was no water system. Less groundwater was available in the village. Yet he had to provide drinking water, potable water to the community. And that particular pond had been used by the forefathers of those present in the village at the moment as a source of drinking water. But over the years, you know, it became a dumping site where people dumped their rubbish and lots of other items. And then the place became very stinky, and it's a pond actually, and then there is no way the pond could drain out. Then yet dirty and contaminated water from sewage as well was coming in from about 6 different channels into the pond. So just standing beside the pond was almost impossible. And Sohanlal had to provide potable water to the village. And then he had to construct road to link the village to other parts of India. So that was a huge challenge. But again, to make matters worse, he didn't have enough funding. You get it? He didn't have enough funding to create, to build a concrete road, and he had to clean the pond of the dirt, and it's a marshy ground. So all these challenges put together, the workers are not ready to accept, you know, some of his suggestions and proposal. They want to get money for doing nothing. They're just scared. Some of them come to the work site. Some of the men, they play cards. Some of the women, they do their household chores. They bring it over there and do it. Now, put yourself in this situation of the Gram of Sohanlal. What would you do? So that is just a little summary of the problem in the case. But we're going to analyze the case after you have read it. In our class tomorrow, we're going to take part of that class, the first 30 minutes to analyze this case, and the next 30 minutes to do something else that I prepared for tomorrow. So if you've not had a copy of the question, you can just of the case, you can just indicate so I can organize, I can arrange for you to have a copy of it. So you can send an email to Student Affairs. I think it's the coordinator, LMS RC, and the same address that sends you the links to the classes. Just request a copy of the case, and they're going to forward it to you. Is that okay? Okay, and then there is another case which we're going to discuss. It's a case about toothbrush, a toothbrush company. I don't want to call the company's name. The company came to India around 2008 and so, but the people, most of the people did not want to use toothbrush. They preferred to use, I think it's a neem stick, or it's a neem tree. Those who are Indian, can you identify that tree? They prefer to use a some neem tree. Yeah, neem tree. But they didn't want to use the toothbrush that this company is offering. So the neem tree, well, I see lots of different spellings are coming in, but of course you understand what I'm trying to talk about. Now, the question I want us to debate a little bit, even before we get to the case, you as a manager, maybe marketing or branch manager, you've been sent to head the unit in India, and this is the case. The people feel comfortable using the neem tree, and you have to sell toothbrush. What do you think will be your plan of action? I like to see lots of people sending in their chats. You want the question again? Around 2008, 2009, so many people in India, they didn't want to use toothbrush. They preferred to use the neem tree. And then you are the manager or the head of the regional head or whatever managerial position to head that department in India. And you have a sales target. You have to make the people to buy toothbrush. And the people want to use the neem tree. So what would be your approach? How would you convince the people? How would you do it to be able to make the company profitable? Pio says, plan a good marketing for the brush. How would you do that? That is what we're interested in hearing. Because the name is also effective, isn't it? I don't know, I've not used it, but when I read through and then I talk to people when I went to India, and they told me lots about the neem tree. That their forefathers used it, and it has a whole history. So how do you make a good marketing plan for the brush? Rene says, show the demonstration. I'm showing advantage of toothbrush versus neem. So, Remy, how are you going to do that? Are you going to say neem doesn't clean the teeth, or how are you going to do that? Pio says, you need to find the positive side of brush and negative side of the neem. Okay? That's a good point, Pio. Lazy says, we'll add that ingredients also in the products and we'll market in that way. Are you going to say there are more ingredients in the brush to help market it? Rahul says neem can't reach all areas of the teeth, but brush can reach almost everywhere. That's a good point, Rahul, for a marketing campaign. That's very good. Let me see. Prabha says we need to educate them first, then advantage of toothbrush. Now, that's a good point, Prabha, but how do you do that? We're interested how to do that. That point is very good. But how are you going to do it? How do you do it? Payo says also try to connect the usage of brush in part of modernization. Okay, that's good. Elaine says need to educate them about the benefits of toothbrush plus about the modern side of the brush. Okay, so are you going to use modernization as a tool to sell the toothbrush, or you're going to use anyway, I don't want to answer the question. Nixon says make advertisement on TV, radio, daily newspapers showing the advantages of toothbrush. Okay, that's good. That's an action to take. Let me see. Renee says, give one toothbrush free for all of them. Wow, really? And ask them the results. That's a good campaign. Well, in a budget constrained environment, how is that possible? Well, I didn't mention if there is a budget constraint involved, but that's a good point. But are you just going to give them a brush each and ask them to use it? Do they know how to use the toothbrush? Neem can be used one at a time, but toothbrush can almost go for a year. Rahul, toothbrush, the recommended duration for a toothbrush is 3 months. You cannot use your toothbrush for more than 3 months. Well, some people do, but the recommended duration for a toothbrush is 3 months. So you cannot use the toothbrush for more than 3 months. Let me see what these other people are saying. Alien says give free coupons. Okay. Pio says try to catch 5 first the school going kids. Yeah, when you get the school going kids, those who make the buying decisions are their parents. So how do you get them to get the money from their parents? Ellen says on purchase of X number of brushes. Okay, that's a continuation. And Pio says true. Okay, let me see what Prabha says. Prabha says practical manner to demonstrate how it works. Brush have more evidence of cleaning gradually one by one. We'll get to understand. Okay, so that's the education process. And Remy said make a toothbrush with neem twigs. Wow. Remy, that's very creative, but how do you do that? I never thought of this, actually. I didn't think of this. With neem twigs as handle with bristles. Wow, that's really ingenious. So they have the connection between their old lifestyle and the new brush that is coming into their lives. That's pretty interesting. Well, by the time, I'm not going to tell you what happened actually, because I'm going to give you that case. That is why I want to listen to what you're going to say. Then by the time you go through the case, I'm going to ask you the same question. Raoul's name is a natural resource. You can find it everywhere in India. That's a strong point why they wouldn't want to buy toothbrush, because toothbrush is only going to last 3 months. Well, for those who respect the duration of toothbrush. Nixon says the neem tree branch doesn't clean effectively as long as it can't touch the old tooth, and it's not useful to use toothpaste. Yeah, you can use toothpaste with it, probably. And the PO says a comparison study advertisement on neem used teeth and brushed teeth. This is really interesting, guys. Believe me. One thing is true. You've already given the answer to the question, but you've given it in a very haphazard and, disordered manner. I'm not going to put it together for you. I'd like someone to really go through all the answers that everyone has given and then come up with a kind of a plan. Again, there is one thing everybody is failing to mention. First of all, what is the problem? I'd like somebody to tell us what the problem is, and then we'll look at it from the societal point of view, and then we'll look at it from the business point of view. So what is the problem? Everybody is just giving answers. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But first of all, you have to define what the problem is. Okay, Pio says awareness. Sada to say one is sentiment. Okay, sentimental attachment to the neem tree. Oh, what sentiment are you talking about? Okay, good. So what's the problem? So Pio says that the problem is awareness. Sada says the problem is sentimental attachment to old way of life. Let's see what other people say the problem is. Because if you don't know what the problem is, then your plan will fail. That is one thing in management. You cannot change what you don't know. Nixon says the objective is selling of toothbrush. That is the objective. That's it. But to achieve your objective, something is on the way. That is what we're trying to find out. What is it that is on the way? If you get the toothbrush to the society, you get it to the mom and pop stores and little stores around the corner in India, people don't buy because they believe in their neem stick. So how do you get past that particular attitude? Anil says they have been told that neem is the best way of cleaning teeth. Okay? That is probably what they've been told while they were young. Pio says the problem is marketing. Yeah. Marketing, yeah, to an extent, more or less. Initially, sell it free. Wait. Pio, you say sell it and then you say free. How can you sell and then you say it's free? Sell means there is actually some exchange. Free sale. You just give everybody in the streets, or you go to communities and just distribute it to everybody. Okay. Yeah, nobody has been able, traditional belief, that's one of the major problems. Nixon, that's great. Traditional belief, that ties with what Sadatu says, sentimental attachment. That is one of the major problems you're facing as a manager or a marketing manager or whoever is in charge. You're facing a big problem of sentimental attachment and traditional beliefs. The next problem is Pio says with the health awareness about it. Health awareness, yeah, that is also a problem. Health awareness, but this is a very important problem, but I don't know if the way you're looking at it is the same way I'm looking at it. Definitely when we look at the case, I'm expecting a lot, because you've already given a lot of analysis of that case before you see it. Pio says, Anil says, give it free with tooth powder or with toothpaste. Okay. So how are you going to give it free? You just leave the company, you get a lot of toothpaste and toothbrushes, and you just go downtown, start handing it to people. Okay, Pio say introduce neem toothpaste with brush free so that people will start using it. That's a good marketing initiative, Pio. And then Anil says in UAE also you get some toothpaste with free toothbrush. Yeah, that's true. Very true. That's very true. And Pio said first thing is to reach out to the people. Okay, I really love the way you guys, some of you have done the analysis and the way you look at the whole situation. Let me look at what Renee just sent in. Select some people among them who can understand the benefit of toothbrush and recruit them for marketing, okay? And Sarah to say, get a celebrity to endorse it, create a commercial of a comparison between brushes with neem, brushing with neem and brushing with toothbrush, possibly. Give out free samples. Everyone likes something free. So that is a very, very good way to look at it. Very good. That is what you get a celebrity and attached to the campaign. That's very good. Get somebody that people believe in. Get somebody that people love. I think you can be a good marketing manager. And Prabhu says, salt flavored toothpaste to get used to it initially. Wow, really? I didn't think about that as well. And Pio says, bring some models who can influence people. Yeah, that's the same in line with what Saratu said. That's a good point. And then Saratu said, of course, superimpose the after effect of brushing with toothbrush. Okay? And in commercials. Well, that's pretty good. I like the way you've really looked at it. It's in a very mature way. That's really, really good. Now, we need to, you see, when you go through a case, you have a lot to say. But this case we didn't go through, it's difficult for us to analyze it. But when you take time and go through it, it's really, really fun. It can be a little bit hard, but it's worth it. At the end of the day, you get information in front of you, you analyze it, you figure out what to do based on the information you have. It's really good. So I'll advise everybody to go through the case we're supposed to discuss today. Sitara, Indian Management Style, capturing hearts and minds. That's the title of the case. Sitara, an Indian management style, and that capturing hearts and minds. Please, everybody should try and go through this case. We're going to discuss the case tomorrow. If we have further questions to it, or if anybody is still interested in the I know in India now many people use toothbrushes. That's a case in the past, but before they started using toothbrushes, it was a whole challenge. But this is just the first problem. Identifying what the problem is and try to get the people to start using toothbrushes. But what is this next problem? Somebody, I don't know if it's Rahul or somebody, talked about using toothbrush for a year. Now, imagine that you sell a toothbrush and then people have to use it for a year. Do you think the business will be good? Do you think it will be profitable? Yeah, people buy one toothbrush and then use it for a whole year. And then Prabha says, still many homes, they use tooth powder with fingers. Really? Well, maybe, I don't know. It depends. Maybe you're talking from what you've seen. I have just no idea. But that's not really good because the fingers cannot go to touch every part of the teeth. Then Prabha says, rural areas. Wow. That sounds. Now, you know what the problem is. You can figure out a solution to those problems. And then Rahul says in Kerala we use mango tree leaves, not neem leaves. Really? Wow. I don't myself, Prabha, I don't know how to figure out how it works, but it's new information to me. So not the leaves of the neem, they use the stem of the neem tree. It's a medicine in Kerala. Well, where I come from is not very important. I've lived a lot on the move, so let's stick to our class. Well, using mango I don't know. The medicinal part of it, I don't know. But when you live in a community, or when you have to do marketing, you have to educate people in a particular community with a particular belief, like they have a particular attachment, they have a traditional belief about something. It becomes a challenge to make them completely abandon that particular way of life. And that is where the work of the marketing manager or the research, the marketing research comes in. You try to figure out how to breach that, break that barrier and introduce your products. And like someone said, using a star, a famous person, that started to, it's very, very effective. If the people believe in, there are lots of Indian actors that they are very famous, not only in India, around the world. If you can get hold of some of these people, even some of the cricket players, they're very famous. You can use them as well, not only in India, they're famous all around the world. You can use them to endorse a particular product, and that is going to create a difference because people love them. They can easily listen to what they say. So that's it. So if they see these kind of people on a particular ad and they're trying to encourage the use of a particular item, that is going to be very good. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to give you this case, the one I'm talking about with the toothbrush. I don't get that point in red. Okay, probably after we've analyzed the case tomorrow evening from 7 to 8, I think, I'm going to give you the case of the toothbrush. I believe most of you will be interested in it, and we're going to go through it. Please, you go through it as well. It's not really going to be fun if we don't go through it. It makes the discussion very difficult. And I've just tried to, if most of you have realized, where am I from? Are you asking my origin, my nationality, or what is it exactly you want to know? Is it my nationality or where I'm from? My origin? My origin is Cameroon. Cameroon is a very small country anyway. Many people do not know about it. It's a developing country, and close to Uganda. Well, I don't want to go deep into this because this is not part of our class. So I think there is a teacher profile. I don't know if it's yet made public, but you can get the profile of all the teachers, their nationality, their education, and where they've lived, where they've worked, and stuff like that. I think you can get more about me, where I've been, where I've worked, where I'm a member, and stuff like that. It might be important to some people. Anyway, I just tried to do a lot of improvising to catch up with the class for today, because I was not very comfortable that we didn't read the case. So please, tomorrow evening the class is from 7 to 8. We're going to discuss this case again. If you don't have a copy of the case, you can write an email to the address through which you got the link for the class, and they're going to send you a copy of the case. Please, everybody should try and have a copy of the case, then go through it. And then you take down these 2 questions on the board, on your screen, and we're going to do the analysis of these 2 questions tomorrow evening. Take it down. It's going to help you as you read the case to understand better. So is there any question again? Now the case will come from the coordinator. I think I can pull out the address. If you're having a problem, let me just paste the address on the chat box. You can send a request, and you're going to have a copy of it. This is the email ID, coordinator@lmsrc.com. Again, that's the email ID. If you don't have a copy of the case, you can share this email ID with your friends and those who don't have a copy of the case as well. And they can send an email requesting the case. Just tell them the case Sitara. Let me write it, Sitara, and then say Indian management style, capturing hearts and minds. That is the title of the case, Sitara, Indian management style, hyphen somebody already got it on the Dropbox? Anyway, just send them an email to that address, and they're going to send a copy to you directly in person. So it's easy for you to, and no one will complain tomorrow that they didn't get it. And then tomorrow, please, we're going to answer these 2 questions. What are the guiding principles of good governance that the Grand Pradhan Sohan Lal has offered in the case? Not what you're going to read from outside. From the case, what are the guiding principles that this man, Sohan Lal, has offered? Then the next, it's going to be how did Sohan Lal effectively manage village affairs despite no formal education in management? Then you have to support your answers with specific situations from the case. You don't just say something in the open, in the void. You say something and then you support it with specific situations in the case. So these are the 2 questions. I hope everybody has taken them down. So thank you very much for coming. Though we didn't do what we were supposed to do, because you didn't honor your own end of the deal. You didn't read the case. I hope that tomorrow we'll be able to do that professionally and learn a lot about management in an Indian environment. And we're going to look at the relationship between this management style and management in places like the UAE and other parts of the world. So we don't take the management style of India and think that it works everywhere, or we don't take the management style of the West and think that it's going to work in India. Okay, thank you, good evening. And